So what if I told you that a single political decision could actually shake up global markets, make your energy bill more expensive, and even push inflation higher? And no, we're not talking about some new tax law or a trade agreement. We're talking about a test explosion way out in the middle of the Nevada desert. Okay, let's get into this.
It feels totally disconnected from our day-to-day lives, doesn't it? But the truth is, a plan to restart U.S. nuclear testing kicks off this incredible chain reaction, and it ends right in your wallet. So in this explainer, we're going to follow that chain, link by link, and see exactly how it all works.
You know, that one sentence didn't just make waves in Washington. It shook things up in Beijing, it definitely rattled Moscow, and it sent these tremors all the way through Wall Street in ways that most of us don't even see. It was the potential end of one era, and maybe the start of something new, and frankly, deeply uncertain.
And that giant? It's America's nuclear arsenal. It's hidden away in deserts, deep under the oceans, tucked inside bombers. It's a force that's been dormant, at least when it comes to live testing, for a whole generation. And now, all of a sudden, it is back in the conversation.
So the big question is, why now? I mean, after all this time, why is the US even thinking about detonating nuclear weapons again? Well, the answer is this mix of really old technology and, you guessed it, rising global tensions. This timeline really shows you just how big of a deal this is. For over 30 years, 3 decades, the US hasn't set off a nuclear weapon. We've been relying on computer simulations instead. So to break that pause isn't just a small policy change, it's a massive, massive strategic shift. And this right here gets to the heart of the problem. On one side, you've got this aging US arsenal, with some missiles designed way back in the 70s. But on the other side, you have rivals like Russia and China, who are rolling out brand new systems. And this creates a really dangerous question in Washington. Can we be 100% sure our stuff still works? Okay, so this is the crucial point. The testing isn't really about the data you get from the explosion. It's about psychology. It's about sending a message to the world, and honestly, to yourself, that your weapons are absolutely positively reliable. It's all about achieving what military planners call strategic confidence. But here's the thing. That confidence, it comes with a price tag. And this is where all that geopolitical drama suddenly pivots and becomes a story about your personal finances. Let's break down exactly how that happens. So here is that economic chain reaction. First, restarting a program like this is unbelievably expensive. That means more government spending, which leads to more borrowing. More national debt puts pressure on inflation to go up, which means the Federal Reserve has to keep interest rates higher to fight it. And the result of all that? Your purchasing power goes down. And the economic pain doesn't just stop at our borders. The second this kind of tension goes global, Wall Street and all the international markets, they feel it instantly. This is the fundamental rule you have to remember. Markets can deal with bad news. They can price it in. What they absolutely cannot handle is not knowing what's coming next. And restarting a potential arms race with nuclear powers? Yeah, that is pretty much the definition of ultimate uncertainty. And here's where that uncertainty hits you in your daily life. Oil traders get nervous, and boom, energy prices spike. All of a sudden, your gas tank in Ohio costs more because of a political signal sent from DC. Higher fuel costs mean it costs more to ship food, so your grocery bill goes up. It just creates this ripple effect that touches everything, from your utility bills all the way to your mortgage rate. So to really get why these decisions have such a massive impact, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of the power that we're talking about. This isn't just some theory, it's very, very real. Just look at that number. It's staggering. Over 5,000 warheads in the US arsenal. And nearly 2,000 of them are operational, ready to be deployed fast. This is the silent force that's sitting underneath all of these strategic conversations. And that whole force is built around the famous nuclear triad. It's designed to make sure the US can always strike back after an attack. The first piece of it is buried deep in the American heartland, hundreds of missile silos, just waiting in silence. The second part is the most survivable, because it's gliding invisibly beneath the world's oceans. We're talking about a fleet of submarines, each one carrying enough firepower to wipe out multiple countries. They are the ultimate insurance policy, that guaranteed second strike, making sure no enemy could ever attack without facing total devastation in return. And the third part? It patrols the skies. Stealth bombers that give you flexibility because they can be recalled
or sent to a new target. So together, these three parts, land, sea, and air, are designed to make a nuclear attack on the United States simply unthinkable. And this is the system that a return to testing is supposed to prove still works.
And that brings us to the inevitable fallout. Power creates pressure. If the U.S. starts testing again, it's a huge signal that deterrence is no longer just a theory. It's a real and present threat. And you can bet everything you have that Russia and China will respond in kind, kicking off a new, incredibly expensive, and frankly, very dangerous global arms race. And to put all this in perspective, just look at this chart. It shows that the United States has, historically, conducted more nuclear tests than all the other major powers combined. So for the country that has tested the most to be the one to break this modern taboo on testing, well, that sends a uniquely powerful and destabilizing message across the world.
So where does this all leave us? In a lot of ways, it brings the whole story full circle. The conversation we're having today is really just an echo of the one that started with the very first atomic bomb. That shockwave, it never really went away. It's been shaping our world for almost a century now, sometimes loud, sometimes quiet. And now as testing gets back on the table, we can feel that old shockwave starting to echo again.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. We tend to think of these weapons as just military or political tools, but they're not. They are deeply, deeply embedded in our economic reality. A single decision about a test out in the desert can influence global markets, your savings, and even the price of milk.
And so that leaves us with this final, really unsettling question. Is this renewed focus on our nuclear readiness a necessary step to stabilize a dangerous world? Or is it the beginning of something much worse, that deep, unsettling quiet that always seems to come right before a storm? The answer to that is going to define not only our security, but our economy for years to come.